6:57 a.m. I jolt awake, champagne burning my eyes again. For a moment, I'm disoriented. The bedroom is my old one, not the minimalist apartment I've called home for the past 4 years. The realization hits me like a truck. I'm 5 years in the past. Tomorrow is my wedding day. My first wedding day. My phone buzzes with a text from Vanessa, my sister and maid of honor. Can't wait for your big day, sis. Rehearsal dinner at 7, don't be late. I stare at her name on the screen, my stomach churning with the memory of her sugary smile as she tripped and spilled an entire flute of champagne directly onto my face and dress. Right before the photographer arrived, the calendar on my nightstand confirms it, May 20, 2020. Somehow, I've been thrown back to the day before everything fell apart. I swing my legs over the bed, fighting nausea as the memories flood in. James waiting at the altar, handsome and seemingly devoted. Vanessa hovering nearby with that concerned sister act, and later, Ethan Grant, my wedding planner, gently dabbing my ruined makeup with a monogrammed handkerchief while I sobbed in the venue's back room. It happens at weddings, Ethan had said, his voice calm and reassuring, as he helped salvage what was left of my special day. Family tension comes out in strange ways. If only he had warned me about what would come next. In the months following that disaster of a wedding, Ethan disappeared, along with nearly $2 million of my family's fortune that had been entrusted to his company for investment properties. My hands shake as I dial Ethan's number from my contacts. 4 rings, then his professional voice answers, Ethan Grant, Elite Events. Ethan, it's me, I say, surprised by the steadiness in my voice. Just confirming we're all set for tomorrow? Of course, he replies smoothly. The Bellevue is prepared, flowers arrived this morning, and the string quartet has confirmed. Did you need to make any last-minute changes? No changes, I say, watching my reflection in the mirror, noting how young and trusting I look. Just making sure Vanessa's duties as maid of honor are clear. There's a slight pause, something I didn't notice the first time around. Your sister, right? His voice tightens almost imperceptibly. Everything is arranged. Hours later, I stand in the corner of the Bellevue's grand ballroom during my rehearsal dinner, champagne untouched in my hand. Family and friends mill about, congratulating me, while James works the room with his practiced charm. I've been watching the service entrance for the past 20 minutes. 3, 2, 1. Vanessa slips away from her conversation with our cousins, glancing around before quietly opening the door to the supply closet. Moments later, just as I remember, James excuses himself from my parents and heads in the same direction. This time, I'm ready. This time, I know exactly what's happening on the other side of that door. I move closer, heart pounding against my ribs. Through the crack in the door, I can see them. My sister and my fiancé locked in an embrace that tells me everything I need to know, just like before. History repeating itself, but this time I'm not the naive bride I once was. The morning of my wedding day breaks with perfect blue skies, as if mocking what's about to unfold. My bridesmaids flutter around the hotel suite, popping champagne too early and taking selfies. Vanessa arrives last, carrying a large makeup case and wearing a smile that doesn't reach her eyes. I'll do your makeup myself, she announces, just like before. The artist called in sick. A lie I now recognize. I watch her set up her station by the window, carefully arranging brushes and palettes. When my mother leaves to check on the flowers, Vanessa pulls out a set of products identical to my usual brands, but with subtle differences I wouldn't have noticed the first time. I force my face into a mask of innocent excitement. That's so thoughtfulness. The old nickname tastes bitter on my tongue. In my previous life, that makeup left my skin red and swollen within an hour, my eyes nearly swollen shut by the time I was supposed to walk down the aisle. The allergic reaction that Vanessa had comforted me through while secretly reveling in my distress. When her phone rings, she glances at the screen. I need to take this. Back in 5. The moment the door closes behind her, I move quickly. The makeup bags are similar, intentionally so. I swap them back, ensuring my untainted products are now in her designated for the bride collection, while her sabotaged items return to her personal stash. Vanessa returns, tucking her phone away. Sorry about that. Let's make you beautiful. She works on my face first, applying foundation and concealer with surprising gentleness. I sit still, remembering the burning sensation that had once followed the urgent visit from the venue's on-call physician. But this time, nothing happens. While doing her own makeup after finishing mine, Vanessa casually applies the mascara from her personal bag. Within minutes, I notice the telltale redness creeping around her eyes. She blinks rapidly, discomfort evident. Something wrong? I ask innocently. My eyes are burning, she mutters, confusion crossing her features. Must be allergies. I fight back a smile. There's eye drops in my toiletry bag. An hour before the ceremony, James finds me alone in the bridal suite, adjusting my veil. He closes the door behind him with a soft click. We need to talk. His voice lacks the warmth it held when we first met. I've rehearsed this moment in my mind, but the pain still feels fresh. About? I ask, though I know exactly what's coming. He runs a hand through his carefully styled hair. Look, there's no easy way to say this. Vanessa and I, there's something between us. It happened suddenly. Another lie. Nothing about their betrayal was sudden. The day before our wedding, I keep my voice level, watching him squirm. I still care about you, he continues, not meeting my eyes. And your family's connections are important for my business. We can make this work, a marriage of convenience. Later, maybe a quiet divorce. He reaches for my hand. Please, just go through with today, for appearances. I let him hold my hand, noting how I feel nothing now. No heartbreak, no rage, just calm determination. I understand, I say softly. He looks relieved, not recognizing the dangerous edge in my smile. The wedding march begins, and I glide down the aisle on my father's arm. James waits at the altar, handsome in his tuxedo, the perfect groom except for the slight redness around his collar where Vanessa's makeup transferred earlier. Vanessa stands with the bridesmaids, her eyes still irritated, blinking rapidly under the chapel lights. The minister begins the ceremony. I say all the right words until the critical moment arrives. Do you take James Michael Walker to be your lawfully wedded husband? A hush falls over the congregation. My eyes find Ethan standing at the back of the church, clipboard in hand, watching with professional detachment. Something passes between us, a current of understanding I couldn't have imagined in my previous life. I turn back to James, whose expression has already shifted from confidence to uncertainty. No, I say, my voice carrying clearly through the stunned silence. I don't. 6 months later, I'm reviewing quarterly reports in my family's company boardroom when Vanessa breezes in without knocking. The scandal of my abandoned wedding has faded from society gossip, replaced by whispers of Vanessa's whirlwind romance with my ex-fiancé. I've spent these months differently than in my past life, building allies within the company, securing my position, watching. I need a favor, Vanessa announces, dropping into the chair across from me. A 3-carat diamond glitters on her left hand, larger than the one James gave me. James and I are getting married. I look up slowly. Congratulations. We want you to plan the wedding. She leans forward, her expression a perfect mask of contrition. Consider it a peace offering. You always had better taste than me anyway. The request is exactly as I remember it, the same words, the same calculated vulnerability in her voice. Last time I refused outright, creating a family rift that distracted me from noticing what was happening with our finances until it was too late. You want me to plan your wedding to my ex-fiancé, I repeat flatly. It would mean so much to Mother. Vanessa plays her trump card with practiced ease. Right on cue, my office door opens again. Mother glides in, impeccably dressed as always. Darling, has Vanessa told you the good news? She squeezes my shoulder, a rare display of physical affection that I now recognize as manipulation. I think it's a wonderful idea, you helping with the wedding, family healing and all that. I keep my expression neutral. It seems inappropriate. Mother sighs dramatically. I've already promised Vanessa early access to her inheritance portion to cover the expenses. The best venues require deposits immediately. She lowers her voice. It's a substantial amount, nearly $2 million. I'd feel better knowing you were helping manage it properly. There it is. The same money that disappeared in my past life. The money that Ethan was blamed for mismanaging, though I later discovered the truth too late. I take a slow breath, recalculating my approach. If it means that much to you both, I say carefully, I'll do it. Their matching expressions of surprise almost make me laugh. They expected more resistance, more wounded pride. They don't realize they're playing into my hands. That evening, I dial a number I've kept but not used since my almost wedding day. After 3 rings, Ethan Grant, Elite Events. I need your firm's services, I say without preamble. It's for my sister's wedding, to James Walker. A weighted silence follows. That's an interesting development. I have a proposition for you, I continue. Help me plan this wedding and I'll help you expose what James is really after, my family's fortune. I pause, my heart racing. I know you've been watching him. I know you're not just a wedding planner. Another silence, longer this time. Meet me tomorrow, the cafe across from the Bellevue, 9 a.m. He hangs up without waiting for my response. The cafe is quiet when I arrive. Ethan sits in a corner booth, 2 coffees already on the table. He looks the same. Tailored suit, attentive eyes, the consummate professional. When I slide into the seat across from him, he pushes 1 cup toward me. I've been investigating James Walker for 3 years, he says without preamble. He's targeted at least 4 other wealthy families through their daughters. Different names, the same scam. I wrap my hands around the warm cup. In my case, it was through my sister. Ethan's eyebrows lift slightly, the most surprise he'll allow himself to show. You speak as if you already knew. Let's just say I've seen how this plays out. I meet his gaze. Last time you disappeared when the money did. Everyone blamed you. His jaw tightens. I've never stolen from a client. I know that now. I lean forward. But James and Vanessa are about to access $2 million of my family's money. I need your help to make sure it doesn't vanish this time. Planning my sister's wedding becomes my cover for uncovering the truth. I spend hours at Ethan's downtown office, ostensibly reviewing venue options and catering menus. What begins as strategic alliance shifts into something deeper as layers of Ethan's carefully constructed persona peel away. Your background check on Ethan Grant doesn't add up, I tell him one evening as we sort through vendor contracts. Birth records, education, all seem legitimate until 5 years ago when they suddenly become too perfect. A small smile plays at his lips. What gave me away? Everything fits too neatly. I gesture to the elegant office around us. And this isn't just a wedding planning firm, is it? Ethan leans back in his chair, studying me with new appreciation. My real name is Ethan Grantham. My family owns Grantham Financial Securities. He says it matter-of-factly, but the name hits me like a thunderbolt. Grantham is one of the oldest financial institutions on the East Coast, a rival to my family's company for generations. You're that Grantham? I whisper. Why are you planning weddings? He stands, moving to a painting on the wall. Behind it is a digital safe, which he opens with a retinal scan. Inside is a sleek laptop. Elite Events gives me access to exclusive circles. People like James target wealthy families during moments of emotional significance. Weddings, funerals, health crises. I track them. The laptop screen illuminates with surveillance data, financial records, photographs. This is more than a hobby, I observe. My sister wasn't as lucky as you, he says quietly. She went through with her wedding. By the time we discovered what her husband was doing, he'd disappeared with over $15 million and left her with crushing debt. Understanding dawns. You're not just planning events. I'm preventing financial crimes. His eyes meet mine, and occasionally gathering evidence for prosecution. Over the following weeks, Ethan teaches me the subtleties of his double life. We spend an afternoon arranging sample centerpieces in his office workshop. His hands cover mine as he demonstrates how to shape roses and lilies into elegant arrangements. Looser here, he murmurs, his breath warm against my hair. Flowers should look natural, as if they've fallen perfectly into place by chance. His cologne, Sandalwood and something uniquely him triggers a cascade of memories. His steadying hand on my back after Vanessa ruined my wedding makeup. The handkerchief he pressed gently against my tears. The quiet dignity with which he absorbed blame for the missing funds in my previous life. I find myself leaning closer, our shoulders touching as we work. Later that evening, I access Vanessa's wedding registry using the password I discovered her using multiple times. Our childhood dog's name followed by her birth year. Amateur security for someone executing a sophisticated con. Look at this, I tell Ethan, turning my laptop toward him. The registry includes the usual household items, but also substantial honeymoon funds and charity donations to obscure organizations. Ethan's fingers fly across his keyboard, tracing the shell companies. These accounts connect to offshore holdings in the Caymans, he confirms. They're funneling your mother's money through fake wedding expenses. The night before Vanessa's wedding, I volunteered to bring her forgotten sleep mask to her hotel suite. She's out for her bachelorette celebration, a dinner I declined to attend. The hotel staff know me as the wedding planner's assistant and let me in without question. I'm not proud of searching my sister's belongings, but desperation drives me to her locked travel case. The combination, our mother's birthday, opens it easily. Inside, beneath designer lingerie and jewelry, I find a leather-bound diary. My hands tremble as I flip through pages of Vanessa's flowing script. There, in black and white, is the confirmation I've been seeking. Detailed plans to ruin me, starting over 2 years ago when she first introduced me to James at a charity gala. Their relationship predated mine by months. Every chance meeting with James had been orchestrated, every step of my downfall planned. More damning are the photographs tucked between pages. Vanessa and James, embracing, dated weeks before he allegedly met me. Their smiling faces, champagne glasses raised in a toast to the perfect mark, according to the handwritten note on the back. I photograph everything with shaking hands, my heart pounding so loudly I fear security will hear it down the hall. When I return to my apartment, Ethan is waiting. One look at my face tells him everything. You found something. I wordlessly hand him my phone. He scrolls through the images, his expression hardening. This is more than enough. For what? I ask, though I'd already know the answer. To end this once and for all. He looks up at me, eyes dark with determination. Tomorrow, at the wedding. Vanessa's wedding day arrives with the same perfect weather that blessed my aborted ceremony. The Four Seasons ballroom drips with white orchids and crystal, all paid for with my mother's money. I move through the space with professional detachment, clipboard in hand, the dutiful sister who swallowed her pride to ensure perfection. The ceremony concludes without incident. James kisses Vanessa beneath a canopy of floating candles, both of them radiant with apparent joy and hidden triumph. Guests wipe away tears, unaware they're witnessing a performance worthy of Broadway. At the reception, champagne flows freely. The string quartet plays softly as servers circulate with hors d'oeuvres. I spot several of James's business associates in attendance. Potential investors he'd courted using my family's reputation before, and now lures with Vanessa's connections. You've done an exceptional job, my mother says, appearing beside me. The flowers alone must have cost a fortune. They did, I reply evenly. Your fortune. She misinterprets my tone as a lingering bitterness. Darling, I know this must be difficult, but family comes first. She squeezes my arm and drifts away to compliment the ice sculpture. The dinner service concludes. The moment approaches. My heartbeat thunders in my ears as the best man finishes his toast. The DJ announces it's time for additional speeches and indicates me. Heads turn. Surprised expressions ripple through the crowd. This wasn't on the printed program. I approach the microphone, wine glass in hand. Across the room, Ethan gives me an imperceptible nod. On cue, the ballroom's projection screens, installed for a photo montage later, flicker to life. I'd like to propose a toast. I begin, my voice steadier than I feel. To new beginnings. The crowd murmurs appreciatively. Vanessa's smile freezes, uncertain. James looks vaguely bored, already scanning the room for important guests to schmooze. As many of you know, I was once engaged to the groom. A ripple of uncomfortable laughter. What you may not know is the extraordinary journey that brought us all here today. I gesture to the screens where the first image appears, a page from Vanessa's diary detailing how they selected me as their target. A confused hush falls. Vanessa half rises from her seat. My sister and my ex-fiancé have a remarkable love story, I continue, advancing through photographs of them together, dated months before my relationship with James began. It started long before I met James, a carefully orchestrated plan to access my family's fortune. Gasps and whispers cascade through the ballroom. The next slides show screenshots of the fake charity accounts, wire transfers, shell companies. James is now fully standing, his face contorted with rage. "This is absurd," he shouts. "She's clearly disturbed. The bride and groom have funneled nearly $2 million into offshore accounts." I continue, raising my voice. "Oh, documented here and verified by financial authorities." On cue, several plainclothes officers stationed throughout the reception move toward the head table. At the back doors, more uniformed officers appear. Ethan has timed everything perfectly. "This is a mistake," James snarls, backing away. "Vanessa, tell them!" But Vanessa remains frozen, staring at the evidence projected for all to see, her own handwriting condemning her. I step away from the microphone as chaos erupts. James bolts toward the kitchen, only to be intercepted by two officers. Wealthy investors demand answers. Mothers shield their debutante daughters from the scandal. Photographers from society pages capture every moment. A loud thud draws attention back to the head table. My mother has collapsed into her chair, face ashen. I rush to her side, supporting her as she struggles to breathe normally. "How could she?" Mother whispers, staring at Vanessa being questioned by officers across the room. "Her own family?" I hold her hand, watching Vanessa's perfect makeup streaking down her cheeks, expensive mascara leaving black trails on her flawless skin. It's the exact image from my past life, except then it was my wedding makeup ruined by champagne and tears. The symmetry feels like cosmic justice. "I'm sorry you had to find out this way," I tell Mother softly, and in that moment, I almost mean it. The autumn rain patters against my living room windows, creating a soothing background for what promises to be an uncomfortable conversation. Vanessa sits perched on the edge of my sofa, looking smaller somehow without her usual armor of designer clothes and perfect makeup. 3 weeks have passed since her wedding imploded in the scandal. "Thank you for seeing me," she says, her voice barely above a whisper. Her eyes are red-rimmed, hands fidgeting with the frayed edge of her sweater. A vulnerable version of my sister I've never witnessed before. "I know you have every reason to hate me." I place a cup of tea in front of her and sit across the coffee table, maintaining distance. "Why are you here, Vanessa?" "To explain." Her voice breaks. "James manipulated me too. He found my weaknesses, my jealousy of you. Always the perfect daughter. The brilliant one." Tears spill down her cheeks. "He convinced me we were in love, that we deserved more than what we had." I study her face, searching for truth among the familiar lies. In my previous life, I never heard these excuses. We were already estranged when everything fell apart. Part of me wants to believe her, to find the sister I once loved somewhere beneath the deception. "You kept a diary detailing plans to ruin me," I say quietly. "That wasn't James. That was you." She flinches as if I've struck her. I was angry, confused. I didn't mean... My phone interrupts with a call from an unknown number. I almost decline it until I recognize the prefix for the county jail. "Excuse me," I tell Vanessa, stepping into my kitchen to answer. "You have a collect call from James Walker. Will you accept the charges?" the automated system announces. Curiosity wins out. "Yes." "You've got some nerve," James begins without preamble, his voice tight with controlled rage. "Do you have any idea what it's like in here?" "I imagine it's a step down from the Four Seasons," I reply coolly. He laughs, that charming laugh that once made my heart skip. "Listen carefully. I'm prepared to testify that Vanessa knew nothing about the financial arrangements, that she was innocent in all this." "Why would you do that?" Because you're going to use your family's connections to reduce my sentence. His tone hardens. Your mother sits on the board of 3 charities with the district attorney's wife. One word from her could make a significant difference in how my case is handled. You're negotiating after everything you did? I'm offering you what you've always wanted, your sister back. His voice drops to a silky whisper. Deep down, you know Vanessa was just a pawn. Help me, and you can have your family whole again. I end the call without responding and return to the living room, where Vanessa watches me with hopeful eyes. My mother's town car pulls up outside, right on schedule. She'd called earlier, insisting on joining this conversation. Mother sweeps in without knocking, bringing her signature Chanel perfume and authoritative presence with her. She embraces Vanessa before acknowledging me with a nod. I've spoken with our attorneys, Mother announces, settling beside Vanessa on the sofa. If we drop the family's charges against Vanessa, they believe most of this can be contained. She looks at me expectantly. The company reputation could recover. And James? I ask. He'll face consequences for the financial crimes, of course. Mother waves dismissively. But we could still be a family. Your sister made a terrible mistake, but haven't we all? The scent of Mother's perfume, once comforting in my childhood, now makes me nauseous. I see the manipulation clearly. Mother cares more about appearances than justice, more about the company's reputation than my betrayal. I've brought the paperwork, Mother continues, pulling documents from her handbag. If you sign these, withdrawing your personal testimony against Vanessa, we can begin healing. I take the papers, feeling their weight, literal and figurative. For a moment, I imagine the easier path. Forgiveness, reconciliation, the comfort of family despite its deep flaws. The prodigal daughter welcomed home, all sins forgotten in service to the family name. No, I say finally, my voice soft but firm. Darling, be reasonable. I said no. I place the unsigned papers on the table and stand. I'm not dropping the charges, and I'm not pretending this never happened. Vanessa begins to sob. Mother's expression hardens to granite. Then you leave me no choice but to protect what's left of this family without you, she says coldly. I walk to my desk and retrieve a different set of documents, papers I'd prepared with my own attorneys after learning from my past mistakes. I've already signed these. They legally separate my personal finances from the family holdings and establish my own branch of the company, independent of the parent corporation. Mother's face pales as she scans the first page. You can't do this. It's already done. The weight of the pen in my hand when I signed felt like claiming my future. I'm building something new, something honest. You would abandon your family? Mother's voice trembles with genuine shock. I look between them, the 2 women who conspired to destroy me, now seeking my complicity in their redemption. You abandoned me first. 1 year later, spring sunshine streams through the windows of my downtown office. The brass plaque on my door reads, Bellevue Ventures, named after the venue where I first caught Vanessa and James together, a reminder of how clarity can come in unexpected moments. I've transformed the family's neglected tech division into a thriving enterprise, doubling our market share while my mother and sister deal with the aftermath of scandal. Most days, I don't think about them at all. Today isn't most days. The Davis wedding went perfectly, Ethan says, entering with 2 cups of coffee. He places mine, almond milk, 1 sugar, on my desk before settling into the chair opposite. Though nothing will top the Henderson affair last month, I smile, accepting the coffee gratefully. 4 ice sculptures and a live elephant. Hard to compete with that. Our partnership has evolved over the past year. While I rebuilt my branch of the family business, Ethan continued his double life. Elite wedding planner and financial crime investigator. I've joined him on 3 cases, providing insights that helped protect other families from scammers like James. I'm thinking of expanding, I tell him, gesturing to the blueprint spread across my desk. Opening a West Coast office next quarter. Ethan studies the plans, nodding appreciatively. Smart move. The tech corridor there aligns perfectly with your new patents. He looks up, eyes meeting mine. Though it might complicate our arrangement. Our arrangement? I raise an eyebrow, enjoying the slight color that rises to his cheeks. The investigative work, he clarifies, though we both know that's only part of what has grown between us. Our hands brush frequently over dinner plans and case files, lingering longer each time. We've danced around the obvious for months. The intercom buzzes. Ms. Bellevue, your 3 o'clock is canceled. That's your last appointment today. Ethan stands suddenly. Actually, I was hoping to steal you away early. There's a private event I need your input on. Another wedding? I ask, reaching for my jacket. Something smaller, he says cryptically. More exclusive. He drives us to the botanical gardens on the city's edge, a location we've used for several high-profile clients. Yes, yeah, I understand what it says. Instead of heading to the main building, he leads me along a winding path to a secluded pavilion overlooking the lake. White roses and cherry blossoms frame the entrance, their scent delicate on the spring breeze. What client is this for? I ask, noting the elegant table set for two, champagne chilling in an ice bucket. Ethan takes my hand, his expression uncharacteristically nervous. This isn't for a client. When he drops to one knee, everything stops. My breath, my thoughts, the world itself. The ring he holds catches the afternoon light, simple and perfect. I fell in love with your strength, he says quietly. Not just now, but in the first timeline, too. When everyone else abandoned you, I saw your resilience. It haunted me even when I didn't understand why. My heart pounds against my ribs. You remember? He shakes his head. Not exactly. But when you first approached me about Vanessa's wedding, something felt familiar, like déjà vu. Every step we've taken since has felt like returning to a path we were always meant to walk together. Yes, I whisper before he can even ask the question. Yes. 3 months later, we exchange vows in this same pavilion. No elaborate decorations, no society photographers, no family drama, just 30 of our closest friends witnessing our promises. The taste of sweet victory mingles with champagne on my lips as I say I do to the right man this time. Later, as twilight falls and our small reception continues, Ethan pulls me away from the celebration for a moment, alone by the lake. Happy? He asks, his arms encircling my waist. I consider the journey, the betrayal, the pain, the unexpected second chance that allowed me to rewrite my story. More than happy, I tell him. Complete. Over his shoulder, I catch a glimpse of a familiar figure at the garden entrance. My mother, elegant in navy blue, watching from a distance. Our eyes meet briefly across the space. She nods once, almost imperceptibly, then turns and walks away without intruding. Some wounds may never fully heal, but as Ethan's hand finds mine, I realize that's okay. The scars remind us where we've been, but they don't dictate where we're going. This time, I'm writing my own future, and it begins today.